Ooh, well, welcome back. And this American tourist got himself into a little bit of trouble with the police. What happened was this tourist looked online, looked at some maybe travel blogs, vlogs even maybe, and he saw this beautiful fountain. And what he saw on that fountain were people sitting and eating. So of course he thought, what a great way to enjoy the beautiful city, to pick up my feet, sit down and have a nice sandwich or whatever he was eating at the fountain. But yes, a cop saw him, unfortunately, caught his attention. And there are things called decorum laws. And the cop decided to enact one of these laws on the tourist, asking him to please remove himself from the fountain and eat at a different location. For some currently unknown reason, the American tourist decided to kind of resist that order a little bit, and he was slapped with a 450 euro fine, which these days is a little bit better against the dollar, but if you compare it against the won, you can get shocked.
Yes. So exchange rate on that fine.
It was, I looked it up, I was like, ooh, baby. And it says a little bit in the article, but it's gone up. So I think it says 620,000 in the article, maybe 40, and it's gone up to 670, which we actually will be doing an article on that a little bit later too. So make sure to check that out as well. So basically this tourist had to pay the fine, and now he is a little bit worse for the wear.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I suppose that I can see arguments on both sides of this. I think the guy himself, I'm guessing he didn't believe the cop when the cop came up because A, he'd seen it online, he'd seen pictures of people eating there, he'd read blogs about it, so he just thought, well, of course it's fine, of course it's not illegal. Plus, there have also been reports of fake cops scamming tourists, with fake fines and fake ideas. So perhaps he had two reasons to doubt in this situation.
Yeah, he did not heed the advice, and he still had to pay the fine in the end. I don't know. That's a difficult situation. So you might be able to understand, but in the end, it was a real cop. And although people do sit on the fountain and do eat, and sometimes cops do ignore them because these decorum laws are apparently up to the prerogative of the cop. They get to enforce them as they see fit. This cop decided to focus on this one person, and that might have felt a little unfair. But unfair or not, you're not in your home country, and if you were, you would still get a fine probably. So yeah, American cops don't mind giving fines out either.
Yes, perhaps he felt singled out.
What type of reputation do American tourists have, and what is your country's tourist reputation?
I think we have the same reputation. I mean, perhaps, slight differences. I would associate American tourists with volume, particularly loud, but I would associate British tourists with being obnoxious. Absolute refusal to enjoy another country's culture, food,
They
anything.
can be a little bit belligerent. Maybe not that too much, but...
Or maybe not loudly, but just... somehow thinking that it's okay to go on holiday and not take part in the local culture, which is a bit, which nobody likes, to be fair.
No, kind of ruins the day for a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah, just accept it. Do as the Romans do.
Do as the Romans do.
Exactly, yeah. So volume, huh?
Yeah, sorry, that's the, when I think of American tourists, number one thing, loud. Often not rudely, just talking to one another on the subway, in the museum, but at an incredible volume.
That is a common stereotype of American tourists, which I happen to agree with. Being in Korea, when I do hear American tourists, or when I do hear someone talking loudly, it happens typically to have an American accent. So I'm like, ooh, okay. I mean, they could be Canadian, but what's the difference, right? Just a joke, Canada. However, the other one that I heard was Americans can be quite ignorant when it comes to other people, however curious. So although they might be ignorant and not curious,
The British are not curious, I think.
American tourists tend to be ignorant and curious, which leads to some awkward questions, but at least they're trying. Do you have any laws or customs related to eating or drinking, like in public in the UK?
Not really. I think we're actually quite liberal. You've probably heard this stereotype. As soon as the sun comes out, every British person is in a t-shirt, out on the streets, having a picnic, or even taking their shirts off and like trying to sunbathe in the park. So everywhere you will see people eating and enjoying outside if they can, if the weather is not raining, because it's usually raining. So when I went to other countries, I was quite surprised, even in from my time in Russia. They think it's a bit dirty, a bit disgusting, a bit low class to eat outside. Even an ice cream, even a sandwich in a park, on a park bench, they find this very uncultured. So I quickly stopped doing that in Russia because they didn't.
Yeah. Luckily, half of the year, you don't have to worry about the ice cream melting on your way back.
Yes.
Maybe even freezing harder.
Yes, keep it cold outside your
keep
apartment.
it cold out. Exactly. Yeah. There was this one time where it snowed a lot where I used to live. And when you opened the door, it was basically covered with snow. So you could, make a little freezer out there or fridge, depending on how close you put it to the door. It was a nice little additive to the day. And as a kid, very fun, but I'm sure as an adult, very scary. Oh, we can't leave our house.
Yes.
Thanks, parents. Yeah, America, I don't think has a lot of laws. They do have customs. I think like Russia and stuff, you're eating outside and it's fine, but there's appropriate places and inappropriate places. At least where I lived. However, I heard that in New York, because of people's schedule being so quick or being so tight, eating on the go is not a shocker.
I feel exactly the same about England.
Yeah. And eating in your car where I was very normal. Everyone eats in the car. Let's go ahead and dive into that vocabulary, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Take something literally.
Take something literally.
Decorum.
Decorum.
Spigot.
Spigot.
Heed.
Heed.
Stay put.
Stay put.